Greetings, internetizens. This is Elmerthien playing Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. In the last episode, Espella passed out from identity crisis, and the guards took the stand. It's been found out that... what was it? Oh, someone with pointy shoes was in the tower. Maybe it was Darklaw. My client has checked out completely. It's like she's hypnotized. Espella, what the heck is going on? They even put up a special courtroom outside in the town square to house the massive audience. This is the big one. Looks like we've got no choice but to hang in there until the professor gets here with that final clue. Alright, let's do this, Maya. The storyteller finished speaking to the crowds at the town square in the evening. That's when the Great Witch appeared. I still cannot forget the sound of that terrible incantation. It was undoubtedly that girl's voice. We ran towards the tower as soon as we saw her, keeping our eyes on her to make sure she didn't escape. We split into two groups at the entrance. One group to guard it, the other to chase down the witch. I was in the first group. I was one of the pursuers. I ran into the tower and caught the witch. There was no one but us at the crime scene. We captured the girl. There was nowhere for anyone to hide there. There was no other witch, I'm sure of it. I was gathered in the entrance. I had the door closed. That's right, young one. The fateful bell tower. The fateful incident. We saw them with our own fateful eyes. Well, I suppose that can again be summed up by saying, you all did the best you could. The vigilantes were the first to arrive at the crime scene. Their testimony is credible. It does seem so, and if what they say is indeed true, it would be decisive proof of the accused's guilt. Our opponent is a witch, the Great Witch to be exact. Things probably aren't as simple as they seem. If you think so, feel free to look for any cracks in their testimony. If there are any, and if you're up to it. Defender, you may begin the interrogation. Shortly before sunset, there were lots of people in the town square, weren't there? All the people were in the square. You read the contents of the story, didn't you? How? It would be a lot of people, right? The town's grand finale was kind of a big deal, huh? It happened only several hours ago, a sight we'll never forget. The storyteller noticed the Great Witch first. She appeared at the bell tower, and she conjured a flame above her finger. The storyteller fixed his gaze on that flame, but it was already too late. The Great Witch uttered the incantation. Granworm. Maybe there are probably some other conditions for how to make the spell work. Some other... Yeah, Somatic components, that's it. She didn't do the somatic components here. I still cannot. Yeah, I've already read that. And by that girl, you mean? Oh, what a question! I mean Espella Cantabella. Who else? She took her father's life with that fearsome word. Yeah, no doubt about it. That voice belonged to Espella Cantabella. That fiendish voice. It even made me shudder. A little. Oh, yes. She shouted that dreadful incantation. Ignace. Really? His memory and his ears are broken. Wrong trial, Grandpa. That wasn't even the same witch. It looks like they all remember her voice. Well, to be honest, I also think it was Espella's voice. Maybe it's better not to dig too deep into this topic. Were the vigilantes the first to arrive at the crime scene? Of course. I was worried the Great Witch may escape us, so I never took my eyes off her until I reached that bell tower. You didn't lose sight of her even once? No, even when I tripped on a pebble and fell down, I kept my eyes fixed on her. You fell down. It's dangerous to run without paying attention to where you're stepping. I saw my fellow vigilantes capture the Great Witch. That's when I tripped and fell. It was impossible for someone else to have traded places with the person who summoned the fire dragon. But who had the pointy shoes? Was it Foxy or was it someone else? Therefore, the Great Witch Bezella can be none other than Espella Cantabella. Can you tell me which vigilantes were guarding the entrance? It was me and Lotta Lance. The rest went after the witch. Right, Lotta Lance? Yeah, I think that's right. What? What about me? I was there with you. I was guarding the entrance with you. Yes, now that I think about it, it was quite a scene. Quite a scene? If you want to know more, why don't you ask the kid? Him. I'm fairly certain that I too was there, guarding the entrance. Well, wherever I may have been, the winds that blow over plains will have blown just the same. These guys aren't the best when it comes to teamwork. Oh. You did it! You caught the witch? She was as if in a daze. I too was in a daze. Then I seemed to fall unconscious. When I came to, it seemed that I had captured her. This guy's worse than Meekins. That means you climbed the tower before anyone else? Yes, that's correct. Well, let me tell you, that guy's the fastest among us. Runs at breakneck speed. And number 5 is very light. I'm quite jealous of his feathery build. I could imagine him running like a centipede. I mean, running on all fours. Well, creepy looking. I just don't know what to say. Are you sure there was no one else? Very sure. There were only 2 people on the top floor. Huh? Wait a second. You said 2? Yes, 2. It was me and my sweet Foxy. What? Oh, pointy feet. Pointy shoes, I mean. I am in love. And my attention is directed at Foxy. That's a weak excuse. There were several other vigilantes at the crime scene too, weren't there? Yeah, probably. But that means nothing to me. To me, there is only Foxy. That's my romantic interpretation of events. I wish you would testify about what you've actually witnessed. How can you be sure there was nowhere to hide? The whole city was watching the tower at that time. If the witch tried to climb down using a ladder or something, she'd have been seen. That's a fair point. But we're talking about Bezella here. She could have become invisible and flown out of the bell tower, you know. It would be child's play for Bezella, since she can use any spell she wants. Right, the great witch Bezella could have escaped with ease. And yet Espella was caught at the crime scene. Hear that, Nick? That's further proof there's no way Espella is Bezella, right? It's hardly conclusive. I mean, if that was enough to convince everyone, we wouldn't be having this trial. But there's something in Fox's testimony that keeps nagging at me. Was there really no place to hide? Can any evidence in the court record confirm that? Nowhere to hide. The top, perhaps. But Espella had the pendant. Top of the tower, where the bell is.
Objection.
The eyes of the whole town were on the bell tower, and the entrance was locked. Witches may be able to make themselves invisible, but they can't physically disappear. Which means it's not unreasonable to suggest that escaping from the bell tower was nearly impossible. However, hiding themselves after the incident is a different story. That's the sketch of the bell tower, isn't it? Most fascinating. Well, Defender, how about you show us? Enlighten us as to where exactly the witch could have hidden.
Got it.
She hid here, of course, at the very top of the bell tower.
Objection.
It may seem like a plausible place to hide. However, that part of the bell tower is inaccessible to anyone. The stairs don't go up as far as the belfry.
Objection.
Hi, Inquisitor Darklaw. We're talking about a witch here. A witch can do lots of things that are impossible to us with the use of magic. If you were a true knight of the court, you would show us evidence rather than trying to justify your vague theories with the use of magic. He kinda has a point, Nick. How else could someone get to the top of the bell tower? There has to be a way. Was it magic or something a little more plausible? Whatever it was, I need proof. It's getting late. I can see no point in dwelling on this. Defender, you may continue the interrogation. But what do I do? Do I present the contraption or something? A witch could have used magic to remain unseen. Sorry to disappoint you, but no one used any magic at the time. What makes you so sure? To cast a spell, a witch needs to say that spell's incantation. And we heard no incantations, nor any other suspicious noises. And you say suspicious? What do you mean? If a witch cast a spell of invisibility, we wouldn't see anything. But we would have heard the incantation. You shouldn't be asking us what we've seen, but rather what we heard. What do you think, my gorgeous Foxy? Didn't that sound cool? Wasn't I kinda awesome just then? Maybe, somewhat. Ooh. Noises heard at the crime scene. It may be worth keeping that in the back of my mind. Next witness, continue the testimony. You got a reaction. I heard it from both headphones here. You.
Hang on.
Mr. Shaky. I didn't mean to startle you. Do you have anything to add to Mr. Tredon's testimony? Yes. I think there was something. A strange noise. Oh, a terrifying, fleshy squelching noise combined with a sickening crunch? You actually heard something at the crime scene, and you say it was a strange noise? Yes. Look what you did, Nick. That's just cruel. What? I didn't do anything. I can't remember if I heard anything odd when we were in the bell tower. Excuse me, Mr. Shaky. It looks like we're temporarily one witness down. Let's give him a break. Maybe someone else also heard that noise. Number 8 said he didn't hear anything unusual. And it wasn't only Shaky that seemed to have a different opinion on that matter. Let's question the other witnesses too.
Hold it!
Yeah, I thought I heard a female voice. It's 4 people.
Hang on!
Excuse me, number 6? Yeah, I'm sort of busy thinking about something right now. What do you think about Mr. Trident's statement? Is there anything you'd like to share with us? Well, kind of. Just a thought I had. Trident's saying that since he didn't hear the incantation, the witch didn't use magic, right? Yeah, she didn't, so she couldn't have turned invisible, see? That's some surprisingly good reasoning, especially coming from you. But couldn't she have simply cast the spell earlier? If she was invisible from the start, of course we wouldn't have heard the incantation. My, aren't you the smart one, Servius? You took the words right out of my mouth. I was thinking the same. Out of Fox's mouth. Oh dear, I feel like I'm melting inside. Watch me bask in Fox's love, Tredon. The envy, the jealousy, the chagrin. You make me suffer so, Foxy. All right, smitten and broken. It was a noteworthy testimony. But this witness wasn't the only one that seemed to have something to say about it. Okay, let's question some more people.
Hold it! Hang on!
Miss Foxy. What? Would you like to ask Foxy a question, Defender Boy? I'd like to know what you think about Mr. Trident's testimony. I have this little pet theory, you know. He's saying that since he didn't hear the incantation, the witch didn't cast a spell. No? Yeah, she didn't, so she couldn't turn invisible, see? Well, that would make sense. But couldn't she have simply cast the spell earlier? If she was invisible from the start, of course we didn't hear the incantation. So I think you've made a fool of yourself, sweetie. You and Fern would make great friends. And also Adrian. She'd be a friend too. I have. It's just as you say. Oh, the public humiliation. Walk over me more. Let me be your doormat. It looks like the testimony went kinda off the rails there. Tell me about it. Just leave them to themselves and don't make eye contact. But, you know, it wasn't just Foxy that seemed to be thinking about something during Tredon's testimony. Okay, let's question some more people.
Hold it.
Okay, Mr. Wordsmith, or whatever you call yourself now.
Hang on.
Excuse me, Mr. Wordsmith. I do not know anyone by that name. Yeah. Anyway, would you like to comment on Mr. Tredon's testimony? I see you have nothing to say. He's in Greenfield mode again. Do not rush to conclusions, young one. I am on a green field, sky-clad, watching petals dancing in the wind. Yep, I knew you'd say that. And yet, a single shaft of light has shone through the dark abyss of my memory. I heard something in the bell tower when we went to apprehend the witch. What did you hear? Was it an incantation? No, it wasn't an incantation. Nevertheless, it sounded like a woman's voice. Mr. Wordsmith, this is extremely important information. Please add this to your testimony. Yes, I shall do that. It's best that I tell you about it now before I forget again. As the defender requested, you will now testify about the sound you heard. I recall hearing a woman's voice, a faint, delicate sobbing, no less.
Hold it.
You heard a woman sobbing? Yes, sobbing, or perhaps wailing. She sounded a bit like hinges in need of some grease. Boy, his falsetto packs a serious punch. And there was another noise too. Cluck, 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 cluck. It was a pleasant sound, rather like that of wooden cogs in motion. Oh, yes, the contraption. Huh? And another sound. A clink, clink of chains creaking. We've come a long way from the sound of a woman crying. Oh, I remember now. A woman's scream. It was like the contraptions. On second thought, I heard it too. I remember a certain wailing, creaking noise flowing through the air. And when did you hear it? We ran to the bell tower, and I think it was when we arrived at the entrance. Indeed, only the quickest of us got there in time to hear it. Mr. Wordsmith is a fast runner. To be honest, Nick, I never saw that coming. I think it might speak more for the slowness of the other vigilantes. Anyway, you've got a new piece of info. The vigilantes heard some noises resembling machinery in the tower. I wonder what was making all those eeks and clinks and clacks. Was there any machinery up in that bell tower? Now's the perfect time to present something that may have some connection to those noises. Looks like they're all saying pretty much the same thing. But there was another witch in the bell tower, if only it was easier to prove. If the other witch used the invisibility spell, that would explain why no one saw her. No kidding, Maya. That's the whole point of invisibility, after all. But just knowing that doesn't help me. I need more information to go on. I'm sure there was one more person, another witch, in the bell tower at the time of the incident. And I'm going to find a way to prove it. Right, let's keep our eyes peeled for any witnesses acting suspiciously.
Hold it!
You locked the door to the bell tower. I wasn't gonna let anything escape. So I turned the key in the lock. You did a great job, didn't you? His intentions weren't bad, but it did more harm than good. Huh? The little boy swallowed the key, and there were no spares. He successfully locked in everyone who'd entered the bell tower. He swallowed the key? That's right. We couldn't get down from the bell tower for some time afterwards. This incident has led us to coin a new word for getting hopelessly tripped. It's to be Zibel Charlton Chamchak milled. It's getting quite popular. Don't go around attaching strange meanings to people's names. So maybe you could say that we got ourselves kinda Zibel Charlton Chamchak milled in Labyrinthia. Look at you, a budding expert on Labyrinthian slang. Now we got isekai'd. Is this where we present the contraption?
Objection!
The defense has a theory regarding the source of those strange sounds. It was most likely this. This mechanism is on the middle floor of the bell tower. That reminds me, there was some contraption up there, unlike anything I'd seen before. That's right, Chief. We never touched it, though. How about we try operating that contraption to see what it does? We might just be able to reproduce the sound that Mr. Otterlines heard at the crime scene. Alright, you might be onto something. But it was I who testified about it before that young man. I talked about it too. Well, you've got my curiosity. Let's see you set that contraption in motion. My lord, just leave it to me. Get ready, everyone! Prick up your ears! Ah, they're in front of the tower. But the image is all corrupted. That's it. That's the very same sound I heard. Oh, it is. That's what I heard as well. Yes, that's it. As you've all seen, or rather heard, it's clear that device was operating shortly after the incident.
Objection!
This doesn't change the fact that we know nothing about what that contraption does, and we should investigate it more. Your demonstration hasn't led us to any valuable conclusions.
Objection!
Remember our demonstration a little while ago? Demonstration Are you referring to that silly contraption?
Objection.
That contraption serves a very specific function. The plan of the bell tower shows no stairs leading up to the belfry. Now, if you think about it in relation to the plan, it's obvious what this contraption is for. It's a mechanism enabling access up to the belfry. What? Is that what it is? Order! Order! Another witch was in the bell tower when the incident happened. And the reason she wasn't discovered is because she used that contraption to reach the belfry and hide up there.
Objection.
Hold your horses, defender. You seem oblivious to the contradiction in your reasoning. What do you mean? I'm talking about your little demonstration earlier. Yes, the device was set in motion and made some strange noises. And yet, that's all it did. That's right, nothing else happened. If it was a device for accessing the top of the tower, then why didn't it take us there? Ergo, that contraption is of no relevance to this case. Which brings us back to my erstwhile conclusion that there was no other witch.
Objection.
It's too early to say that, High Inquisitor. And why is that? Sure, our demonstration didn't show it, but maybe the device didn't work because it wasn't used correctly. What? Why do you think so? My reasoning is simple. Let's just say it would be troublesome if just anyone could go up and sound that bell. So it's reasonable to assume that access to the belfry would be restricted. In other words, that a special key would be needed. A key. And I think I know just what that key is. And it puts a speller in more trouble. Before I ask you to present evidence, I'd like to summarize your theory. You believe that there was another witch in the bell tower at the time of the incident, and that this witch used a contraption within the tower to make her way up to the belfry and hide there. Your whole theory rests solely upon that contraption. If it doesn't allow access to the belfry, then your reasoning is completely wrong. I'm sure you know what that would mean for a spell. Your mistake would seal her fate. Yes, I'm aware of that. All right then, the defense shall prove its theory. Show us this key needed to operate the contraption in the bell tower.
Take that.
The key to the contraption is this pendant. That belongs to the accused, doesn't it? That's right. We found it at the crime scene, but it was torn off. Now, if we take a look at the bottom part of this contraption, there's a depression here about the exact same size of the pendant. Oh yes, I remember it. A hole in the shape of that pendant. But I don't get it. Why would that pendant be the key to the bell tower? I don't know either, at least not for now. But the point is, it definitely is. With this pendant, we should be able to operate the contraption and access the belfry. Well, then the court will grant the defense a chance to prove its assertion. However, you shall be given one chance only. Do we get a puzzle? Are you ready, Defender? Make sure you are prepared for the consequences of a mistake. This will be your only chance. If it doesn't work, that will be the end of it. Yes, I'm ready. I've got to be right about this. Good. To be honest, this looks like a puzzle. I wish the professor was here. This is totally his field of expertise. Are you ready, Nick? Should we give it a try? Yeah, it's got to work. Espella's fate depends on this. Talk about pressure. I've gotta stay calm. A puzzle during the trial. Pendant light is reflected by the blue gems on the circumference of the gears of the machines. Each gear will rotate 90 degrees when turned. Rotate the gears to align the blue gems and redirect the light. The large central gem will reflect light when in the vertical positions, and when rotated the light must hit the red gems on either side at the same time. Okay, Nick, let's give this thing a shot. Whoa, a beam of light. Of course, this must be the key. That light is just begging to be pointed at one of those red gems. You're right. Still, it looks like there's some kind of trick to the whole thing. A trick? Yeah, think about it. There are two gems. I bet we have to light them up simultaneously. Looks like we're gonna have to do it with only this single beam of light too. What? Are you sure we can pull that off? I have no clue, but you've got no choice but to try. All we have to do is move the gears and bounce the light off those blue gems. Alright. No time for the jitters, Nick. We've got to make this work for Espella. It's a laser puzzle. Do the gears not connect? This isn't good. This one does something. Did you see that? It lit up for like a second. Yeah, it did, but it was only one gem. What gives? Nothing's happening. What exactly did you expect? The gems must be lit simultaneously. But there's only one light. It's impossible. Indeed. Now then, I believe we have our answer. It is, as you say, impossible. Oh! Wait a second. Let me try just one more time. That will not be necessary. Your time is up. Or have you already forgotten? You were given only one chance to back up your claim. We have to split the light somehow, but how? No way! In the end, the defense has failed to prove its theory. The contraption cannot be operated with the pendant. But the pendant fit right into the mechanism. There's no way that's a coincidence, but still, no matter how much I try, it seems impossible to direct the light at both gems simultaneously. It seems your foolish experiment wasn't too much of a waste of time. Huh? While you were tinkering with that contraption, the accused regained consciousness. Oh, Espella! Is she okay? Well, despite seeming a bit confused, she's in better shape now. Although, I wouldn't describe her situation as okay. Quite the opposite, in fact. Don't tell me you've forgotten your agreement with the judge. You failed to prove your theory, and so the accused's fate has been decided. There's nothing I can say to that. Attendants, bring in the accused.
Accused, the trial has reached its conclusion in your absence.
Are we really dragging out the bad ending?
The court shall now announce its verdict.
The verdict. You are the Great Witch, and your true name is Bezella. This evening, a terrible crime took place. You killed your father, the storyteller, using the spell Grandworm. Does the accused have anything to say?
Yes, I am Bezella, the one that brought calamity upon this town. And my memories are proof of this. I remember the legendary fire in which this town was burned to the ground. And this day several hours ago, I summoned a fire dragon and took my own father's life. There is no doubt that the Great Witch is a part of me.
I understand. Hold it!
No, Espella, you can't. Don't say that. You're under a spell. Don't give up just yet. Fool. What? You've been fighting a battle in this court. You have come here with your logic, finding contradictions to astound everyone. It was your battle, not hers. So how can you be telling her not to give up when you have already dropped your sword? If you are a true knight of the court, you will fight your battle to the end. Why is she telling me this? It almost sounds like she's encouraging me. Again, she keeps telling us to investigate for ourselves. Is she waiting for something?
No, it's okay, Mr. Wright. Ever since I was little, I can only remember being all alone. But that's not really true. There were people who were dear to me and memories that I cherished. At least, I think there were. But I've already lost all that. They were taken from me the moment I became Bezella.
Was she a puppet all along? A puppet to probably Darklaw.
Since then, I started working at Aunt Patty's bakery. I met Mr. Wright, Maya, Mr. Layton, and Luke. The four of you did all you could to help me.
Maybe the Bezala persona was implanted.
I am truly happy to have met you. But blame for the Great Witch's crimes rests solely on my shoulders. So let's put an end to this now. Bezella must not remain in this town. Thank you, Mr. Wright.
Spella. Well then, it's time for the final verdict. But there's no fake execution machine in this courtroom. Think, Phoenix, think. Isn't there anything I can do? I just need something. Anything that could offer even a single glimmer of hope in this darkness of despair. Her bracelet. There's gotta be something, right?
Objection!
Your Honor, please hold off with the verdict. What's that, Defender? It's too early to pass the final judgment on Espella. What? Explain yourself. You said earlier that the trial has reached its conclusion. But there's something we have yet to examine. What are you suggesting? Do you mean to say you have some new evidence? But surely there can't possibly be any new evidence at this late stage. This isn't the first time someone was hiding a gem on their body. Very well, Defender. We shall play along with you just one more time. Now, show us this evidence that we haven't yet seen. The new crucial piece of evidence is... There's only one place where it can be. It's in Espella's possession. I have it. I saw it for a second. Something there that she shouldn't have. An item that contradicts what we've heard. My gut feeling tells me that the item is the key to this whole case. Most interesting. I shall enjoy watching you hopelessly struggle through this, like a fish caught in a net. Now, Defender, show us this new evidence that the accused supposedly has in her possession. That magnifying glass is too big.
Got it!
Espella, can I see the bracelet on your left hand? Yes, certainly. If you'd like. It's actually a pendant, you know. But the strap got torn somehow when I was up in the bell tower. There's two of the pendants. That's why I've had it around my wrist since, well, just before this trial started. But this pendant... It looks exactly the same as the one we already have here. Wait a minute, what's all this? We confiscated her pendant at the crime scene. Why is she wearing it now? I don't get it, it's giving me a headache. So I was right. I have another question about this pendant. Espella, do you remember when exactly the strap broke? I'm trying to remember, but no, I can't. I know it was still fine when we parted ways, but... In other words, she has no memory of it. She doesn't remember when it broke or when she tied it to her wrist. That's certainly bizarre, I must say. Her pendant has already been submitted as evidence. And yet Espella still has her pendant. That's a fact we can all attest to, which means there must have been two pendants to begin with. Really? So there are two. And the accused was caught red-handed at the crime scene. Whether this pendant is hers or not, it doesn't change anything. Yeah. She was caught red-handed by us, the vigilantes. This pendant proves something crucial to this case. It can't be more crucial than us catching her at the crime scene. The second pendant wasn't dropped by Espella. So, as the defense already suggested, one more person was at the crime scene. What? Ah! Order! Order! Accused, submit your pendant as evidence this instant. Yes, my lord. Nick! If we have two pendants to work with, maybe we can see if that strange contraption will work this time. Now it makes sense. That must be why it didn't work before. Your Honor, the defense would like to try operating the mechanism in the bell tower one more time. What? Why now? The contraption didn't work before because we only had one pendant. But both pendants are needed to operate it properly. Foolishness! Try as many times as you like. High Inquisitor Darklaw, you know this is a waste of time. If it's not going to work anyway, why not let the defender see for himself? What? Defender, if you think you can operate the contraption with two pendants, then I suggest you go ahead and try it, unless it has already dawned upon you that such a plan is futile. The defense shall be given one more chance to verify its theory about the aforementioned contraption. Let us now make our way to the bell tower. This is going to be your last try. I know. Are you not terrified? The life of the accused rests in your shaky hands. We won't be having any more let me try again, please your honors. Besides, you must be aware that this puzzle may well be unsolvable. I wouldn't have been able to solve a puzzle like this before arriving here in Elmerthien. But now, I'm sure I can take on any puzzle. And it's all thanks to you, Professor. You taught me that every puzzle has a solution. I have everything I need now. What do you say, Maya? No, what do you say, Maya? Should we hurry up and get started? Sure thing, it's puzzle busting time.
There's a clear contradiction in this puzzle. No further objections.
I'm sure I did it right. Nothing's happening. This sound. This is... What an astounding contraption! What do we have here? It's still no comparison to the incomparable astoundingness of Mother Nature. Oh, I'd like to climb up those stairs. I like being on the top. We shall escort you. I'm gonna tell. Okay, Nick. Let's go see what's upstairs. With all those people crowding up there?
Nick, isn't this bell...
Yes, it's the Bell of Doom.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's the bell that was taken from underground. The bell of ruin. The bell that must not be sounded.
Nick, there's someone hiding behind the bell.
Oh, we've got our culprit. Was it Don Paolo in a... I don't know. The Don Paolo is a man. Was it like a female version of Don Paolo? A Donna Paola or something? Kira.
It's you. Now that's the last person I expected to find here. Miss Kira.
Perfect time for the chapter break. See you next time.